which we'll get into.
Yeah, and let's start off with that because The Athletic are reporting this morning that Gibbs White is expected to be part of the Forest squad that flies to Portugal for a pre-season training camp next week. Beyond that, the future does remain uncertain. The midfielder has trained as usual since returning to the club last Monday. He has no conflict with Nuno nor his teammates, despite the ongoing speculation around the Tottenham Hotspur transfer. It doesn't make great reading.
No, but I don't think he's got no reason to have any beef with Nuno. It's not him blocking the transfer. It's Marinakis, and it's not like Forest has done anything wrong here to him. He's obviously had a brilliant time there, but he feels like he wants a new challenge, a team in the Champions League, a bigger team. Maybe he's got some. I don't know if he's got some mates there as well, Tottenham, who probably want to play with. So I understand he wants to end this amicably. He doesn't want to leave through the back door with a bit of taste in the mouth with the Forest fans. So I think he's being professional. He's doing everything right. But it's whether Forest can ultimately block this deal completely or whether they're just delaying the inevitable. Time will obviously tell on that one. The fact that he's set to go on the tour is not great news. It's not wholly surprising. I was hoping we could stop him going on this tour and we can get this deal done. And I guess that could still happen. But the news that he is at the moment set to go on the tour is obviously a bit of a blow because it just means it's going to be delayed even longer, this deal. And it means Forest are playing a hardball as much as possible. We've heard obviously little rumours that people are behind the scenes are confident this deal will be done and even might be done sooner rather than later. But the fact that they're going to be taking him on the tour is an indication of Forest basically saying we ain't backing down here.
Yeah, I just want to see what the extent of this Forest tour is and how many games and stuff that they got, how long they're going to be out there for. So they play 2 games in Portugal and they're there for the next 10 days. But that doesn't stop him leaving a day or two, however long, into the tour. We've seen players go on tour before and leave halfway through or a certain amount through to go and pursue a transfer. Is this another way of Marinakis trying to scare Tottenham and trying to squeeze a bit more money out of them? I don't know, but I do still think this deal's going to go through. Call me crazy, but I do.
I don't think you're crazy. I think that's the common consensus at the moment, that the deal will still happen and they're just delaying it.
Yeah, but they were saying like at the back end of last week that Morgan Gibbs-White wants this wrapped up before the team fly out on Monday. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't look like it's going to happen.
No, and that's just, again, Forest and Marinakis not giving up without a fight. And while he's a Forest player and while he's contracted to them, he will act professionally and they'll take him on the tour. There's no reason for them to not, unless they believe that there's no way of winning this kind of legal dispute that they have now, or they don't think they'll get the money from Tottenham that Marinakis has kind of been demanding, or they're going to be backing down from this legal dispute. It doesn't seem like any of those things are true. So at the moment, while it's all being sorted out, that's what's going to happen. He's going to continue to be a Forest player and he's going to be part of the team. And it makes a lot of sense. Obviously, as Tottenham fans, it's frustrating. We had the Here We Go now, 10 days ago?
Yeah.
So the fact that we're 10 days after that and we're talking about him going on tour and the delays, we want him part of the team, we want him part of our tour in a week's time. 10 days time, that is the frustration. But we always heard from literally the day after this deal was agreed that with this legal proceedings, it's going to delay it, but it won't stop it. And maybe this is what the delay looks like. It's just, at the moment we're 10 days into it and it might drag on for a bit longer, but I'm confident it'll get done in the end.
But how much longer can it actually drag out for until we do just move on?
I don't know. It depends how confident we are.
Because if this is going to go right down to the wire, literally to the last few days of the window, do we still go for it, or do we go and try and move on to other targets pretty soon to get them in, so they can count, have a pre-season behind them, be acclimatized to the way Frank likes to play and everything like that?
Again, it depends how confident we are of winning this court case, or whatever. I don't know if it's going to court or whatever it is, this dispute. If we think that Forest really have no grounds and they're just dragging their feet, and at the end of the day, whatever happens, we're pretty certain that Gibbs White the deal will come off, even if we have to wait till late in the window. If we're very, very confident behind the scenes, there's no reason why it shouldn't happen, then you wait. If it's 50-50 or it's in the balance, I think you move on quickly, if that's how you feel. Depends how Tottenham see it in the background. If they're consulting experts and they're saying, look, Forest have a case here, and this case is 50-50. If you go down to the wire, this could go against you. Then I think we should move on already, if that's the case. But if the experts are saying, look, the decision is going to be made late in the window, but you'll win, but all you have to do is wait, then wait.
What's the end goal here? What's the end game here for Marinakis? If he
money,
like how? Yeah, I know. How much money is the end game? How much does he want?
Who knows?
Like
70 maybe.
We've heard that Levy or Tottenham have been willing to put in a bit of extra few million to push this deal along. Nothing seems to be getting pushed along. I mean, from what we heard, with inside Spurs, they're fairly confident that this is going to go through. We don't really know the feeling inside Nottingham Forest and what they're feeling on the deal. It's just like such a long, drawn-out saga, and for the first time, it's probably not our fault. Usually, it is our fault for this long, drawn-out saga, but just get it done, man. Like I said before,
there's nothing Tottenham can do about just getting it done. What can they do?
I know,
yeah.
But like I said a week ago, this ain't doing us any favours. It ain't doing Gibbs White any favours. It's not doing Nottingham Forest any favours. So just get this deal moved along. I don't know what they're waiting for.
Well, we're talking to Tottenham fans. We're Tottenham fans. Obviously, we want this deal to move along.
And I'm sure the majority of Forest fan wants it moved along as well.
I think a few of them do, but if there's any hope that they can keep him, maybe they don't. Or I don't know exactly how they're all feeling. But obviously, if he wants out, then you're best getting the money and moving on, 100%. But
that's what the general consensus is.
But Marinakis feels they're not getting fair value, albeit there is a release clause in there. So he's trying to get that more money, and he's trying to use this legal issue. And I'm sure if you're a Forest fan as well, and if Forest are right and we have done something wrong or whatever, then I think that they'll feel they're within their right to take issue with it and either to get that bit of money out of Tottenham instead of allowing this to go through without them having any say. If there has been any wrongdoing, obviously I don't know. If there hasn't been, this is all a waste of time, and they're just delaying it. And then in that case, I agree with you. But if there is wrongdoing in some capacity, and they do have a case, then I think it's probably a bit different. But I've got a feeling that they might not have a legal case. They might kind of know we've done wrong in a way because we might have spoken to him before or whatever, but I really highly doubt they got any proof that of that wrongdoing, and I think it probably will land on Tottenham's side, this legal dispute. That's my feeling, but obviously I don't know much, but that's the feeling I get when I'm thinking about what kind of evidence Forest could have against Tottenham. So whether this whole legal dispute benefits Forest in any way, I would think unlikely, but if they have a case, then it will.
Why doesn't Marinakis just get this deal done and then move on to the next carnage moment that he's going to produce? Literally, it's never ending with this guy. From PGMOL to the Premier League to UEFA to berating Nuno on the pitch and now to this. I mean, look, it will flare up again with Marinakis. Don't get that twisted. It'll probably happen next week with their next transfer or something like that with a player that you don't want to sell. So this whole thing is just so frustrating. Let's just hope Nottingham Forest can push this over the line at some point. But yeah, I do genuinely feel like from Forest fans, they're probably as fed up and frustrated as Spurs fans are on this.
Yes and no. Obviously, we're probably more frustrated because we're the ones trying to poach their best player, and we've got the deal done. But they need to move
on as well.
Of course, but that's their best player they're losing, and I'm sure in a perfect world they don't want to lose him. So, in a scenario where it doesn't happen and he ends up staying, I don't think, as I said, he's the kind of character who's going to down tools or stop playing to his best. He's going to be professional. So if they can keep him for another year, I'm not sure too many Forest fans are going to complain about that.
Yeah, but another year and his value dramatically drops as well with going into the last year of his contract. So if he's not
from
signed...
60 million?
Huh?
From 60?
I think it goes down from 60
million.
million.
No, dramatically.
I think it will go to like 40, 45, something like that, going into his last year. Yeah, which is, a significant drop from 60, even though they think he's worth a lot more than 60. So I think from a Nottingham Forest perspective, it's probably best to get him out now as well, in terms of getting the most kind of value on the player and move on, get another target in, and everyone can just move on with their lives, like I keep saying.
I know, but if from Forest fans' perspective, do they have a better chance of getting Europe next season if Gibbs White is there or is not? Obviously, depending on who you replace him with.
Yeah.
And is that, that decrease in value, could you make that up and get a European spot? Maybe that's how they're seeing it.
I don't know if they are, because the most part is just get this deal done. Just if he wants to leave, let him go. Like, if a player wants to leave, surely like fans wouldn't like hang the club to a hill saying like, you need to keep him at the club. Like, if he wants to leave, he wants to leave, and I think that's where Forest fans are at with it.
I know, but I think we're looking at it too much from a Tottenham fan's perspective. Obviously, we want this done, but Forest don't want to seem to like their best players are being poached by their rivals. And that's the perception here. And as much as, he just wants to leave to get it done. But no, they want it done in the right way, I'm sure. They don't want it just done underhanded. But look, at the end of the day, we've done nothing wrong. We've activated a release clause. So they can be upset about it, but there's only so much. But I can understand. I don't think Forest fans are like desperate to see this transfer go through. You know what I mean?
I'm not saying desperate, but I'm saying like, if he wants to go, like for instance, Cuti Romero, right? If he really wants to go this summer, then he can go with my blessing. Like, just leave the club if you don't want to be here. What's the point of having a player that you don't want at your club?
Okay, I understand that, but for the right price, isn't it? We're not going to sell him for any price.
It's a release clause. What do you
understand
mean,
that.
right
No, I understand that, but they're not feeling it's a fair price, and they're feeling there's been some breach of confidentiality. It's not been done in the right way. If Romero was to leave, we want it done in the right way, don't we?
Of course, everyone in an ideal world, you want it done in the right way, but I would prefer to get a bit less value than to have a player that doesn't want to be here.
Yeah. Depends on how much less, but yeah, of course. But you want it. You're not going to accept a fee which you don't think is the value of Romero, or a good value, and that's what Forest are trying to get, or is close to, because this release clause, obviously, they believe is less than what he's worth, but it's a release clause, so I think there's nothing they can really do in the end, but they want a better value. They're trying to get more money, so I don't think Forest fans will be upset with Marinakis trying to get more money for him.
Yeah, but look, like I said, you see it all around social media, and Wolfie from Nottingham Forest Fan TV as well. Like, I think everyone's just so frustrated with this and just wants it over one way or another, whether he's staying or whether he's going. Just someone make that decision so everyone can just move on. But look, that is the Morgan Gibbs White situation at this moment in time.